In 1963, an American archaeologist stood on a hilltop in Turkey. He looked down at some stones poking out of the dirt. He figured they were old grave markers, Islamic tombstones from the medieval period. Nothing special. He wrote them down in his notes. He packed up his equipment. He walked away. Those were not tombstones. Beneath his feet was the oldest temple ever built, older than Stonehenge by 6,000 years, older than the pyramids by 7,000 years. It sat there, completely ignored, for another 31 years. Today, we have only excavated 10% of it. 90% is still buried in that hillside. And imagine what artificial intelligence is able to help us with. There is a massive structure in southeastern Turkey that defies explanation. It is called Göbekli Tepe. Most people think civilization started with the Egyptians or the Sumerians, but this place is twice as old as the oldest pyramid. It was built around 9,600 BCE. That means it is nearly 12,000 years old. To put that in perspective, Stonehenge was built around 3000 BCE. Göbekli Tepe was already ancient and buried underground when the first stone was placed at Stonehenge. The site covers at least 22 acres. Geophysical surveys have confirmed at least 20 circular enclosures hidden beneath the surface. Each enclosure contains massive T-shaped limestone pillars standing up to 18 feet tall. Some weigh as much as 10 tons. Here is the part that keeps archaeologists up at night. These stones were not found on top of the hill. They were carved from bedrock at the bottom of the hill and moved upward to the summit. Modern engineers say moving stones this heavy up a steep grade would require cranes and heavy equipment. These people did it with rope and manpower. But it is not just the size that is strange, it is the precision. Every pillar is covered in detailed carvings. Lions, foxes, scorpions, vultures, snakes. These are not rough sketches. They are carved in high relief. The figures stand out from the stone. To achieve this, ancient carvers had to remove all the surrounding material without making a single catastrophic mistake. They did this using stone tools on some of the hardest limestone in the region. The official story says these were simple hunter-gatherers, people who spent their days searching for berries and hunting animals. People without cities, without agriculture, without any reason to stay in one place. Since 1995, archaeologists have excavated roughly 10% of Göbekli Tepe. That 10% has already shattered our understanding of ancient history. They have uncovered 8 monumental enclosures. The largest pillars stand over 5 meters tall and feature carved arms, hands resting on stomachs, belts, and loincloths. These are not abstract shapes, they are stylized human figures. In 2023, excavators found something that had never been seen before from this period, a life-sized wild boar sculpture with preserved pigment. Red, white, and black paint remained visible after 11,000 years. It was the first painted sculpture from the dawn of civilization. But recent discoveries have revealed something even more shocking. Göbekli Tepe was not just a temple. People lived here. Archaeologists have found domestic structures. They have recovered over 7,000 grinding stones used to process grain. They have mapped rainwater harvesting systems capable of storing at least 150 cubic meters of water. They have even found chemical traces suggesting beer was brewed here, possibly before bread was ever baked. This was not a place people visited for rituals and then left. This was a permanent settlement with advanced infrastructure, built by people we were told could barely feed themselves. And here is the terrifying part. We have found approximately 40 pillars. Surveys suggest there are over 200 total buried beneath the mound. We have mapped 8 enclosures. At least 20 exist. Every pillar is covered in symbols and carvings. We have no idea what most of them mean. 90% of the answers are still underground. For decades, archaeology moved at the speed of shovels and brushes. That is about to change. In Peru, a desert is covered in ancient drawings called the Nazca Lines. Giant geoglyphs are carved into the earth depicting birds, spiders, monkeys, and mysterious humanoid figures. For almost a century, archaeologists discovered these drawings one by one through painstaking ground surveys and aerial photography. Between the 1940s and 2020, they found about 430 figurative geoglyphs. That is roughly 5 per year. Then researchers from Japan's Yamagata University trained an artificial intelligence model on images of the known geoglyphs. They fed it satellite imagery and aerial photographs of the desert. In 6 months, the AI identified 303 new geoglyphs. It almost doubled the total in half a year. The AI worked 21 times faster than human experts. As of 2025, the total count has reached nearly 900 known geoglyphs. Over 780 of them were discovered using AI and aerial image analysis. The researchers estimate at least 250 more are still waiting to be found. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now. In the Arabian Desert, researchers created machine learning algorithms to analyze radar imagery that can penetrate sand and reveal buried structures. They are finding archaeological sites in terrain so harsh that traditional ground surveys are nearly impossible. AI systems are now detecting patterns invisible to the human eye. Spectral signatures in soil, vegetation anomalies, subtle geometric shapes that distinguish ancient human construction from natural formations. One research team achieved over 90% accuracy in detecting known archaeological sites from satellite data alone. The technology is ready. The question is, what happens when we point it at Göbekli Tepe? Ground-penetrating radar surveys have already mapped portions of the unexcavated site. We know the enclosures are there, we know the pillars are there, but AI-enhanced analysis could reveal details we cannot currently see. Imagine training neural networks on every carved symbol from the excavated pillars, then scanning the radar data for matching patterns in the buried sections. We could map the iconography of the entire site before a single new stone is uncovered. Consider the mysterious symbols carved alongside the animal figures. Abstract marks whose meanings have been lost for 11,000 years. Are they astronomical records, a proto-writing system, or something else entirely? AI systems are already attacking similar problems. Researchers have used machine learning to analyze undeciphered scripts like Linear A and the Indus Valley symbols. One system achieved 70% accuracy in recognizing characters from ancient Cypriot texts by identifying patterns human scholars missed. The symbols at Göbekli Tepe could be next. And then there is the bigger picture. Göbekli Tepe does not exist in isolation. A related site called Karahan Tepe was discovered nearby, with similar T-shaped pillars. Turkey's Stone Hills project is investigating multiple sites from the same period across the region. AI-enhanced LiDAR surveys could scan the entire landscape, identifying dozens of potential Neolithic sites hidden in plain sight, just like Göbekli Tepe itself hid for 10,000 years. What if the temple complex we have found is just the beginning? German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt dedicated 20 years of his life to Göbekli Tepe. He believed it inverted everything we thought we knew about civilization. The old story said agriculture came first. Farming enabled permanent settlements. Settlements enabled complex societies. Complex societies built monuments. Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite. The monuments came first. Organized religion and ritual may have driven the development of agriculture, not the other way around. Einkorn wheat was first domesticated in the hills surrounding this very site. Schmidt died in 2014 with 90% of the site still unexcavated. His interpretation remains incomplete. What if the buried enclosures tell a different story? What if they contain evidence of earlier construction phases, different ritual practices, or connections to distant sites we have not yet imagined? What if they change the way we see the past? AI will not answer these questions by itself. Every potential discovery still requires human verification. Archaeologists must travel to the site, carefully excavate, and interpret what they find within its cultural and historical context. But the technology collapses timelines. What took a century in Peru now takes months. What required generations of patient excavation could be mapped and understood within years. Klaus Schmidt only scratched the surface. 90% of Göbekli Tepe is still waiting, and AI will help us understand more in a few years than Klaus Schmidt was able to do in his lifetime. Hundreds of pillars, dozens of enclosures, thousands of symbols carved into stone 11,000 years ago by people who were not supposed to be capable of any of this. AI is not going to replace the archaeologists. It is going to show them exactly where to dig. And it is going to do it 21 times faster than anyone thought possible. The answers are down there. We are finally ready to find them. Like and subscribe.